IVM.
Hi everybody, just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
All right. Hi, Farhad. So are you in Bombay or Pune or where?
I'm back in Pune.
So this was your first time in Bombay after you moved?
As in
like proper, stay.
Yeah. It was
so
supposed.
Did it feel different?
A 4-day thing ended up being a 3-week thing almost. Did it feel different? I'll tell you what. The first 2-3 days, I was like, even though it's just been 8 months since I moved, everything was making me nostalgic. Like even the smell of like when I was passing by Mahim Creek, that rotten fucking smell, I was like, wow, Mahim Creek, everything was like, wow. But then what had happened was I had moved at that point in the pandemic where I had got very accustomed to a quiet Bombay.
And now
I went back in a time where I was like, oh my God, the number of people, the sounds,
it's back.
Everything, like so much so that all my COVID anxiety sort of came back, which I thought were like gone. But immediately I was like, oh my God, this person's coughing, that person's this, that person's that. It was insane. And 2-3 traffic jams were enough to make me feel like, okay, I don't miss Bombay.
Good decision. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah.
So should we dive right into the news?
So, I love Bombay. I met all my people and that's why I felt like, again, it's confirmed that I miss the people. I don't miss the city so much. Not that much.
Great.
It was too hectic, dude. It was too hectic. Like, it's just in terms of per square footage people, it was like insane.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, what have you been up to? I believe you're going on a trip.
Yeah, just a couple of days. I mean, it's nice to get away for Diwali and stuff because noise and crackers and stuff.
Amazing.
So it'll be nice to take some time off. And also it'll be nice to step away from this constant connectivity. So just stare into like nature and go kayaking and like, swim and just being So that kind of stuff where you're just closer to nature. It's nice. It's nice to have that connect every once in a while. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
So
I have these, speaking about getting away from technology, I don't know what happens to me suddenly where I stop reading for like 2-3 weeks. And then suddenly I'm like, no, let me read a little. And then the next 1 week, I'll read all the time. Like
it's so funny because you equate reading to technology. Because I don't.
I read on my Kindle.
That's what. Like for me, reading is not like for me. Reading is actually escaping from technology. Because I'm very analog that way when it comes.
No, Kindle is not technology. Kindle is a friend.
It is.
Yeah.
No, it is technology. It's not paper.
I'll tell you what. I've had this discussion before, and I'll tell you why Kindle is not. I don't count it as a disruptive or addictive.
Yeah, because it does.
It's got a singular function. Exactly.
Yeah, it does
it's a
nothing
singular
else.
function. It's designed to just make you do the thing it's designed for.
Like it's not your phone.
It's amazing. There's no distraction. If anything, it helps you focus more because of all its features. Love it.
No, I see the point. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Anyway, let's diving right into the news. And I think we had discussed this a couple of weeks back and we had said great stuff and great news. This Axis Bank stuff, I'm going to call it out as yet another, example of how policies and corporate policies really need to think hard and think deep into announcing what they are doing as not a PR stunt and actually tangible changes which have on-ground effects. So there are multiple people who reported that this thing is just a sham. Like it was just, I wouldn't say a sham, but it was just a PR stunt and it's not thought through.
The community was a gimmick for them.
Gimmick, yeah. And the fact that in a place like Bombay, if it's not seen its execution to the fullest, then I can imagine everywhere else. Yeah, please.
Yeah.
So anyone from Axis Bank, if you're listening, it's not okay. We're calling you out right now because this is the kind of stuff that why we as a community don't trust queer advertising. That's why we don't trust
lately, even if the intention is good, I have some kind of animosity towards anything that, even if it's well intentioned, like I can't help but feel like, oh my God, okay, obviously this was a lesbian couple. Obviously, like the Dabur ad, which is also in conversation. And I'm like, okay, again, I get the why they did it, right? Like, but sometimes I can't help but now just shrug it off that, okay, we are included in the pie chart in some presentation, in some PPT we showed up.
Let's tick this box. And we are like a box to be ticked, and it's not enough. I'm not okay with that anymore. Enough is enough. So that's news from my end, where I'm just saying Axis Bank, just do better. Do better.
Fuck you, Axis Bank. That's all I remember when we were discussing it also, because like I said, I've become very indifferent to this type of news now, where, this company changed their logo and this company's made a special LGBT edition and this company's done that. And I'm like, as long as the word company is attached to it, I'm like,
No, unless it's attached to significant tangible change that has that's measurable.
How often do we see that?
Like a company like, let's say, a Nike can claim that, sure, but like you have one organization amidst like some thousands. So I mean, we have to keep calling these organizations out when they do this. So this is us calling it out.
Okay, let's dive into our main topic after a quick break.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. It's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On Naan Curry, we broadcast our 50th episode. Sadaf and Archit invite one of the best food researchers in the country, Vikram Doctor. They discuss Indian street food, small-town delicacies, and the history of our most common food habits. On Smarter with Sid, Siddharth explores how data can be woven into a story through artificial intelligence. On Tere Mere Raste, Kesho takes us to Dehradun, a city whose foundations were laid by a Sikh guru, and tells us how his famous basmati rice was introduced to it by an Afghan king living there in exile. On Cyrus Says, Cyrus is joined by former Indian cricketers and hosts of the Khel Niti podcast, Sabah Kareem and Nikhil Chopra, to talk about tons and tons of cricket. Tune in for a very fun episode. And don't miss the festive season special on the Habit Coach podcast, where Ashton Doctor talks about how our eating habits change during festivals. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week: Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quarter, CoinSwitch, Kuber, Slate Coffee, Intel, Kotak Mahindra Bank, and Oxfam India. Thank you so much for making this possible.
All right. So 2020 to 2021, we've made it to the festive season literally in a matter of what feels like a couple of days, because what feels like very long days, but days, like it's so weird because it feels like yesterday, but it feels like a very long yesterday.
This is
the paradox.
Exactly. If you sit with that old school, which is now outdated, because if you sit with a girl you love, you remember that example. But if you sit with her while you're on a frying pan, sometimes I feel wasn't Diwali just like last month?
Just now,
And at the same time, it feels like, no, dude, Afghanistan happened. No, dude, this
so
happened. The second wave happened. No, dude, so much happened. Like,
the whole election shit happened. God. So, I want to start by asking, your life's very, very different now because you were in Bombay that time. You hadn't moved. So, what's different? How do you feel differently about this time?
I don't.
You're closer to family around this time. I'm sure there are.
You're not a festive family.
No, but like you don't actively say "nahi khelega hum."
I actively say that.
No, in the sense that like you don't like matam manao na during Diwali. You'll go out, you'll eat something nice. It's while there is so much happening, it feels good. I'm not saying you actively photo crackers. Just the environment of like celebration somehow seeps in, that's what I mean. And when you have your family around, it's nice. I'm not saying you will invite people over and like have all kinds of, diyas and all of that, but I'm sure you'll think of like little tidbits here and there, which just make it nice.
Not really, man. I'll tell you why. This is the deal. only recently realizing, especially when I was in Bombay, I thought of this, that why am I missing Bombay while I'm in Bombay? And I realized that because the last, even a year or two before the pandemic struck, I was pretty to myself. Like I wouldn't get out even if it was, I've had New Year's where I just bummed at home. I've had Diwali to Durga baat hai because anyways, it's like holy. I don't want to get out. It's a messy, noisy, it's all of that. So I don't see what's different. I really don't. And also, yeah, no, so I literally, even though I'm close to my family, it's not like, even if it was someone's birthday in my family tomorrow, there's a good chance we might not meet up. Like, that's how dysfunctional a family I come from. And so, literally, I don't know what to feel. I know what I don't feel is what I feel on birthdays and stuff, this stress to have a good time. Which you usually feel on your birthdays or New Year's, till 31st you'll be like, kuch nahi karna hai, I don't want to do anything. But suddenly 31st evening you start feeling like, what is my life now? I don't go out, I'm not active. So I'm at that point where I don't even guilt trip myself on you don't go out anymore. I'm very okay with just being at home, cooking something, watching something. I'm very okay with that. So yeah, I have no festive feelings within me as such right now. Totally different when I was a kid, but yeah, none whatsoever.
So you're saying nothing's changed in your life from last year to now, like Diwali 2022, Diwali 2021?
As in, things have happened. I've got a job, like that kind of stuff has happened.
No. I mean, that's not Diwali specific.
Okay.
That's not festive time specific.
Sure.
So
what's happened? What's happened in your? Do you like Diwali? What's the thing? Like,
no, as in I'm not a Diwali person, but I do feel like life's moved on. Like I feel like life is back.
Yeah.
So it feels better.
I felt that yesterday when someone was bursting crackers in a distance, and it was like one of those continuous 5-minute pat, those long.
I mean, that for me is not life is back. That for me is I want to take a life back. Like, I hate it. I hate crackers.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you when I don't know whether it's this temporary sort of high that I'm on, but ever since the theaters opened, that's when I really felt that jolt of, okay, so things are, so I've watched 5 movies already.
In the theater?
Yeah.
I'm going to watch my first this week. Obviously Dune. And,
oh my God, it's
I can't wait to watch the movie.
Like,
and
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous.
Thursday or Friday. I can't wait. The last movie I remember watching in a theater was Knives Out. And I've not seen a movie in the theater.
Which is what, like in December 2020.
Fuck knows. But I know that was like after that, around that time.
So I did manage to watch Tenet when it had released in theaters. Like there was a small window.
So
I'd gone and I was like, of all things, Tenet, like it was a shit. But anyway, I don't want to turn this into a movie review podcast. But yeah, so for me, that experience of being able to go out. And today, for example, I have a very close friend's birthday coming up next week. So she really wanted like a little thing, like, she'd seen like this little jewelry piece. So I went to Infinity. It was nice to go to a store and buy stuff. And I went there. So I thought, okay, theek hai, Diwali hai. So like, I bought something from Body Shop and like stuff like that, which was out of my ambit of considerations for like almost 2 years now. That feels nice. It feels like there are more options to...
in fact, yesterday something happened. This will answer your question also and not answer it also. But this is how disconnected I am, right? Basically, I'm the only person in my office, in my team, basically, who's out of Delhi. My entire team is in Delhi. I work out of Pune. And
so what's going to happen once everyone starts moving back? Like, will you be required to move to Pune?
Not really.
To Delhi?
As in, when I was getting this job, this was a very hard, bold conversation that I set in stone back then that, hey, listen, I will never move to the north. I will not move to Delhi, so what? But back then it was very, we don't, again, I had not joined just when the pandemic had happened. This was after 6-7 months of the pandemic. So I felt like they knew what they were talking about, but it was we are okay with someone working remotely on this particular job. And touch wood, like it's been smooth, it's been everything. There have been no issues. In fact, we've been doing better than ever. But basically, yesterday they were having a Diwali party in office, and they asked me to dial in. And obviously, in the invite, one of the things I was going to. First of all, the idea that I'm going to be in a screen while everybody's together, I'm like, that's so weird.
Yeah.
But one of the things in the invite was ethnic dressing, ethnic clothing, or whatever. I don't take that seriously. So when I dialed in, I was just in my another black t-shirt, not this one, but another black t-shirt.
Yeah.
And suddenly my boss was like, hey, not cool, man. You're not wearing ethnic. And here's the deal. I don't own a single kurta. I don't. Because it's just something, it's alien to me. It's even in my past, this and all of that. But suddenly I felt like, should I go to the mall and buy a kurta? Like, should I? I did not. I just asked my brother if he has an extra kurta. I donezoed one home. But what I'm trying to get at is that's the level of disconnected I am, at least to Diwali. Because even procuring a kurta, I was like, I don't own a kurta. And the number of kind of responses I got from office people why what? No, obviously everybody has a kurta. And I'm like, what's this assumption? That I don't have a kurta. I genuinely don't have a kurta. I had to fucking donezo it from my brother.
So tell me something. Do you not miss, I'm not saying, 5 days a week, but do you not miss the idea or experience of going to a workplace?
Not
the
at all.
Physicality
not
of sharing ideas and stuff like that?
Not at all. Because
I do big time. I really, really do that.
Yeah.
I really do miss it because we moved offices from Andheri to there's this basically all WPP agencies are housed in the building next to Marriott, the airport wala Marriott. So last week, a couple of us from our went there to check the new place out, and I was like, I've been missing this tangible face-to-face experience. And I'm not saying this is something I would like every single day of the week, but it's nice to have that once in a week or once in a fortnight. And I can't wait to go back to work. Just the idea of, even dressing up and going to work is just so invigorating for me. It really pushes me. And that's what, I think there were a lot of things that happened. And the reason I'm bringing work up in a festive discussion is because a lot of things like dominoes sort of fell together, which it so happened that it's all happening around this time. This work thing, the theaters opening up, what I'm doing for Diwali this year versus last year. Last year I was at home, watching TV, one show after another. But now my life's very different. I'm a guardian. So all of those things have changed. So it feels like, even if it's not changed a lot for other people,
in tiny things feel like a big change.
Even the big things are a big change. The big things are a big change. I mean, go back to the time when you didn't have a pet and the year after you had a pet. Obviously it's a huge difference. So I mean, for me, there's so much more to look forward to. And honestly, none of them has to do with enjoying the festivities per se. It has to do with everything other than that. People and me liking hanging out with people a little more, opening up to that a little more. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not doing anything on Thursday. A friend, an old friend from Pune reached out and he's like, hey, you've been in Pune, I'm having a get together where I will know everybody else also. Would you like to join? And I was like, sure, I'll skip Dune because I was just going to go watch Dune on Thursday. I was like, okay, I'll watch it one day after. Let me get out. So I will do that. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a dead nerve in me now. Festivities, at least. Just you take New Year, you take Diwali, you take any. Sometimes I don't even though because I handle social media, so I tend to know which holidays are when. But this whole week, I feel like, even though I know, okay, Diwali is on the 3rd or 3rd, but in my head, I'm like, keep forgetting, wait, was it the 4th? Was it the 5th? Was it the 3rd? It's fucking Parsi New Year. This year, after a week went by, I realized, oh shit, Parsi New Year went by last week when I actually opened my family WhatsApp group that I ignored. So I was like, oh my God, I literally don't have any sort of gravity towards these sort of like situations anymore. I know already this is becoming one of those episodes where if I hear myself talk, I will be like, you're so irritating, man. Like you literally sound so bored. But I'm not bored. I'm not bored. I'm okay.
So what is there no time of the year in specific? And I don't mean that because it's that time of the year you celebrate it. I'm saying just the fact that things wrap up, right? Like in terms of work, there's this very innate feeling that, okay, the year's wrapping up. Innately, that's why, this festive season, clubbing these months under that bracket happens. So does it not affect you at all? Like, because it affects me a lot, because I start feeling like, okay, so even if I'm not doing anything for Christmas, I start planning, okay, so there'll be a couple of days off. So I'll go watch a movie. I'll catch up on this. I'll catch up with friends. It doesn't have to be in terms of, the pretext doesn't have to be Christmas or New Year's, but the pretext is me having time, me having some time off.
I also feel in a lot of ways, and I genuinely do feel this, what you're saying about work from home. I genuinely am one of those believers that more work and more quality work has happened since work from home as a concept became a thing. I understand the appeal of being in a room in a brainstorming session and all of that, but
that's it.
I also realize what a waste of time everything is when you actually are required every day to 2 ways commute to a place of establishment. Whereas now it's just like, hey, tomorrow everybody come with your ideas. We'll bounce them about and then we'll just pick the best one. And even that, I remember, like, I always felt meetings were so pointless if they are not. But I feel like somehow your Google Meet and your Zoom calls and all of that have kind of pointed that a bit. Because the agenda is clear. You have that conversation and you move the fuck on. So what I'm trying to get at is so much so that what I feel used to take us like a 9 to 5 or a 9 to 9, which was what we were 10 to 9 or whatever jobs we had before the pandemic, I feel like that's consolidated into 5 to 6 hours now, where if you really just sit at home, sit 5 to 6 hours, you're literally free to do so much shit because everything is communicated, everything is getting done, everything is there to see in email or via some sort of solid communication. So what I'm trying to get at is being at home also. When you said, when the year and the work wraps up and all, I felt like there's been some sort of laxness to working from home that makes it feel like in transit, like in limbo, basically. Like, there's nothing to celebrate because every day is in its own way been a gift or a holiday because you just did your work and then you were free to do whatever the fuck you wanted to do. And you stayed on top of the game, you met all your deadlines, you met all your targets and all of that. Then I feel like, what did I miss actually, even from being at home? So in that sense, again, I don't know if I'm answering your question correctly, but yeah, I don't feel like that it's amounted to some sort of like, okay, now I need a break, now I need this. I felt like every day has had its own little breaks, whether it was like cooking from home or all of those things. It just felt relaxed. It felt relaxed minus the 2 months that the second wave ravaged on. What happened, Sunetro?
No, I just switched on my lights.
That was so paranormal activity right now. Suddenly there was a blue halo behind your head.
No, it was getting dark, so I decided.
For a second, I thought my display, that liquid display gets spoiled. I was like, oh my god, what happened to my screen? When you put a magnet. Even I got one of those bulbs. They're damn irritating, huh? Because so many times I can't focus because of these bulbs, these remote, what are they called? LED, Wi-Fi bulbs or whatever the fuck. Sorry, I have to ask, which one did you get? Is this a
Philips?
Oh, okay.
No, this is really good because it has these really cool, like fluid, progressive things where it's got a party light where it literally goes like that.
Flashes.
Then there is this underwater light which actually looks like ocean. So it's really very calming. Coming to that point where I can't remember a day when I would be able to do this when I was going to work and coming back, but after work, let's say in the evening, I've taken my dog out for a walk and she's had her dinner, I just switch on some music and I put this light on like ocean dive mode and it's like I love feeling at piece, like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
piece. I mean, I don't know whether you can see the painting it's not very visible, but
Is it a constellation?
it's how
Like
do I
a
put it?
Jackson Pollock?
Yeah, it's Pollockian in
Okay.
its. I paint a lot of abstract art, but this takes a lot of time because like I take the brush and like I mix colors and stuff. So it took me 4 days to make it, like after work. But the fact that I had the time to do that, it's incredible. It feels so gratifying because when I look at it now, it feels like I've put my time into, and again, I don't want to sound like if you have free time, you have to make something, but I like doing that as much as I love doing nothing. But just the idea of being able to, because painting really calms me, doing things that really sort of, calm me down and like let me breathe, it's been a gift.
That's something so interesting I felt, because again I was in Bombay for 3 weeks and it was an assault on all 5 senses, first of all. But I do remember at times that I felt a certain kind of city anxiety that I've not felt in a while.
Right?
Just the commotion. Also, I lived on Pali Hill. If you which is like you've got your market downstairs, you've got traffic downstairs, you've got like your Santa Cruz planes, you can hear everything, right? Like it's all happening. And what you were just saying, just finding this time to do something at least. I remember thinking 1-2 times in Bombay when it got like too hectic, where I was trying to type and I was like, what's all this noise? And I remember that, wow, I'm thankful for the pandemic to teach me how to not do anything. How to do nothing.
Oh my God, yes.
Like how to not
and
do
okay.
anything and be okay, like just be idle.
And not feel guilty about it.
Yeah, and not that doesn't mean I just sit on my couch and stare into space or something. But
sometimes I do.
Even I do that. But what I mean is like this one thing that I did a lot, I remember, and it got very focused during the first 6 months of the pandemic, where there was nothing to do. I had lost my job. And I remember I would be like, wow, I watched an entire season of Real Housewives in a day. Like I started, and today all that I did was, and I did that guilt tripping type thing. In the start, I used to do it a lot in the pandemic. But over time, I still did those things. Like I actually binged the entire Beverly Hills season in 2 days. I've done it in a day. But what I'm trying to get at is, I did not feel like time wasted. You could have done something else. Like it just felt nice. So in a lot of ways, the larger conversation is festivities. I would like to bring up that I don't know if it's a life thing or a pandemic thing, but I do certainly like this direction of not being excited, which is, again, sounds so sad, but I'm okay with not being excited about anything, because then it's just buoyant, It's just, you're just sailing through life. It's good. It's not something I'm this. But wait, I did think of a question while saying all of this shit. What's your favorite festival? Like, because I know we are on the cusp of Diwali, so it's this, but
to be very honest, I don't have a festival that I celebrate, per se. But for me, I like 31st because without fail, it ends up being one of those days where...
31st is New Year's, December.
New Year, New Year's Eve. I like it because just Christmas and New Year, because it ends up being the time of the year where either I'm vacationing or I'm with friends, just reconnecting and just spending dense time with friends. And it has nothing to do with the fact that it's New Year. It just has to do with the fact that clients go to sleep. You don't have a lot on your hands. So you really can breathe easy and just do stuff like try out complex recipes when you're calling people home, you don't do the easy ones. So I'll do like a kosha mangcho because it really does take 4 hours to make. So I will do that. So that's why I like Christmas and New Year's. What about you?
You have a written recipe? Sorry.
For kosha mangcho?
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't, but I can write it for you. It's just that I won't be able to give you quantities. I'll give you proportions.
Okay.
But
where did you get your recipe from? Like
observing and watching and asking.
Amazing.
Like I really, which is why I panic when I bake, because baking is about precise measurements, and I really am not about precise measurements. I'm about andaz se thoda sa idhar dalo, thoda sa udhar dalo. So I really have to rein it back and be a full
That used
novice
to
when
give me
I'm
so much
baking.
stress, because there was a while I had a catering thing going from home. I used to cook out of my house. In fact, what did I cook when we met? The one time we met at...
You made mutton.
Mutton, right? But what was it?
Yeah.
Was it? It wasn't...
It was like mutton curry. No, it was mutton curry.
It was nihari. Yeah. I had made nihari. Yeah. Sorry. Honestly, my least favorite has become New Year's because that's the only one
pressure.
where I still feel the pressure to like feel relevant on that one day, because I don't know why I directly equate it to how happening you are in life. If you have a plan on 31st, that means, even if it's a house scene, right? Because if there's no house scene also that you know of, and you know that you're not going out, then it's like, do I not have friends? Have I become cold? It goes into that direction, which, as I say it, I find so stupid, because that's not an indication of anything. But I don't know. Do I have for a very stupid reason, I used to love Holi growing up. It's a very psychosexual holiday for me, because I don't know. I think I've said this before, but like, it used to be my horniest day of the year, because it's the one day where suddenly your guy friends are like tearing each other's shirts off, and they're like, it's such a macho, like stupid holiday. Like, I don't know. It sounds so stupid as I say it, but I used to like Holi. I like the whole idea of like,
I love Eid because of the food.
Mutton. Okay.
Oh my
then
God.
Food related, I love all festivals.
No, because it became tradition in so we have someone called Javed Bhai in our office who's like this. He leads production, and he's one of those guys who will get things done for you. And so we call him JB because it's Javed Bhai, because he's, so he organizes an Eid lunch the day, either the day prior or the day after. And it's been that scene for the past 4-5 years. And it's amazing because everyone dresses up. We all sort of, so we do Diwali and we do Eid without fail as traditions in the, and we do Christmas. These are the three things that we do as traditions in the office. But particularly for the food, Eid, the biryani, and he gets his own biryani guy to make biryani. And,
oh my God, can I say something? What? I had actually come to shoot a video at Glitch. And I think I've had this biryani, because there was in the little pantry, there was like a giant patila of biryani, and then one of my friends was like, "Hey, help yourself to some biryani."
Was it Eid or
I don't
was
remember
it something
if it was
else?
a holiday, but there was, and it was great biryani. The kinds where they serve with a teacup saucer. They just serve you. I was blown away by it. And first of all, it was kind of a part audition, part like something. So I was so stuffed out of my mind on biryani, and suddenly I had to say some lines after that. I was like,
bad idea.
Nah, I don't know. I'm not getting biryani. So Javed Bhai, if you're listening.
So I think that I miss. I don't miss. I like Eid for that when we were at work.
It's so funny you said Eid, and then sometimes I think how now being Parsi, I actually have to remind my company that, hey, there's this thing called Parsi New Year. Can I take a holiday? Because most people don't recognize it anymore. Especially.
So one of my closest friends, she's also Parsi. And so usually, we love at her house. I've had some amazing dhansak from her. But obviously she keeps telling me that, you can't make dhansak for Parsi New Year because
it's not an auspicious. It's the opposite of an auspicious.
It's the opposite. So every single time she gets other Parsi dishes, and we set a dhansak date, which is not a Parsi celebration date. So that also, like, I love Navroz too because of my friend.
So if it's food, then obviously my favorite holidays are, because that's the food of my childhood. That's the food a lot of people don't know about. Like, sure, even I look forward to like Bakri Eid, especially because of all the mutton and all of that. But sometimes on Navroz, I can't help, like while I'm eating Navroz or Parsi food, I can't help but like constantly think, God, the rest of the world doesn't know what they're missing out on. God, they don't know what they're missing out on.
I can imagine.
But so that's the thing. See, if you see how the nature of our conversation went, we not only ended up talking about food, but it's the only thing that still we derive, at least I derive joy out of. So whether it's New Year's, it's Diwali, I know if something is there. Like today, I tried this amazing. First of all, lately, I don't know what YouTube is up to, but YouTube has been sending me these very cute Japanese recipe videos. Okay. And because I look up I'm on keto, so I end up looking a lot of recipes. It naturally tends to send me Japanese keto recipes. Oh my God. So today I made like this beautiful, like a cabbage omelette. Sounds terrible. Okay. It sounds terrible.
No, I can imagine.
I'll put a story up. It's kind of a pizza, but made in a pan.
It's like a frittata.
It's like a frittata.
Very similar to a frittata.
You've got toppings on it, which is your pizza sauce. I had cheese. I had sausages, fuck tons of sausages, some mushroom, onion. Oh my God. It was so good. And today also my office has a holiday for some odd reason. So I know my highlight of the day was done. Like I'm still riding high on that one meal I cooked for myself in the afternoon. I'm sorry, I just burped thinking of that meal. But oh my God, it was so good. So yeah, I don't know if we should still call this episode Festivities or just ETs. But yeah.
Is there, okay, so since we're talking food, is there a point of time in the year when you actually get to flex your muscles? Of course, we both live by ourselves, we cook, but flex your like culinary muscles at any point of time. Like for me, for example, when it comes to Doshumi, like Dasera, I always have some people over.
What a cute word. Can you say it again?
Doshumi. So Dosh, like das. So the 10th day. Yeah. So that's one day when I do the difficult stuff. Like there's this vegetable dish called shukto, which is bitter and sweet. Yeah. It's a little complex. Like, there are a lot of condiments that go into it. So I love making shukto then. I love, making kosha mangsho then for people. So that's when I really like challenge myself, and that's why I like this time of the year, this last quarter of the year. I love hosting. I love hosting people. That's one of those things that I can hand on my heart say gives me the most amount of joy. And as a host, I feel like, this time of the year, really, I can push my limits like every single time. But yeah, what about you?
See, that's the thing. And you see my stories, my relationship with food. I'm every day go hard or go home when it comes to cooking. You know what I mean? Like I don't eat simple food. A lot of my food is simple to make, but it's not simple for most people. Like even I will never do just a dal rice. I will what's with the dal rice, what's with the this. And not to sound this, but as in that's the level of like expertise I have in cooking now, where I can make something complex, but to someone else, it will be very complex. To me, it was like, oh my God, I had such a boring meal today. Plus, ever since keto has happened, I've actually been scared how little I've been cooking. Because pre-keto, I was at least this Sunday, I'll do biryani. Next Sunday, I'll do dhansak and, all these big ass things. But now I just literally have very simple sauteed stir-fried food. So it has been scaring me that I don't cook insane things all the time.
Yeah.
But even in that, I know there is some complexity to all my basic dishes also. Even my breakfast is not really simple. I'll say I'm making an omelette, but my omelette is not a regular omelette, like 5,000 things go into my omelette. So yeah, Parsi New Year again is one day where I really, let me do cutlets with a little bit of prawn, with a little bit of Parsi dal rice, with a little bit of something sweet like custard or something. That's the one day where I really like mathas to the shit out of my day. But apart from that, every day it's a little festivity in itself, because that's the highlight of my day.
Of course.
Many times I find myself saying this and I get irritated, but like I literally think about what are the kind of things I derive joy out of at 37 years old now. And literally they are just food, drinking a cold bottle of water, having a good night's sleep. Like these are highlights now. Like, oh man, I slept so well last night. Oh man, that meal was so good. Like literally everything else is just gravy. So yeah, that's pretty much, as in, I don't want to sound sappy, but I feel like every day is a little festive in its own little way now. Even though nothing might have happened that day, but I know a meal, a certain movie, a little chapter of a book, that impacts me or makes me feel so much joy when I go through it, that those little things I love to celebrate on a daily basis.
Okay, so fuck festivities. What are you looking forward to the next month or so? What are the things?
Until this year ends?
Let's say till the end of November.
My best friend's birthday next month. I'm excited for that. I will go to Bombay again for that.
Nice.
Otherwise, nothing. I really have nothing. Because again, I'm not a traveler either. You know that. I'm okay with not traveling. Okay. I'll say one thing. I'm excited to meet new people. I've actually been making an effort to kind of not use Grindr as a sex and Tinder as a sex and everything as a sex anymore. I actually am reaching out to people. Like even day before yesterday, I was playing this game on my Xbox and I got stuck at a very tough level. And I knew it's the kind of thing where I need a separate pair of eyes to look at it because it was a puzzle solving game. So I know I need someone else's this. And I was on Grindr and someone, hey, top or bottom or whatever, everyone was doing that. But then someone very close by, I was like, listen, this might sound random, but I'm stuck in a video game level. Do you want to just come sit on my couch and see if you can also figure this out? And he actually came over.
That's nice.
He actually figured out the puzzle way faster.
Nice.
I was a little like, get out of my house right now because it wasn't this easy, but it was very easy. And it was a little cute indie movie moment, where I was just like, hey, stranger, do you just want to come help me solve a video game puzzle right now? He came, he sat, we ended up chatting for a bit, no kissing, no making out, no sex, nothing. I was like, okay, I'm going to crash now. See you. It was great. So
that's nice.
So I'm excited to meet new people, if anything.
That's nice.
Because I know I've not done that in long. I've just stuck with again, we've discussed this in the past where the older we get, we kind of have these constricted friend groups that we stick to and we don't venture out of those friend groups.
Yeah.
And in the pandemic, even those friend groups when you couldn't meet, you know what I mean? It's just become so difficult to just meet new people. So I'm excited to do that.
That's nice. That's nice.
Do you have something coming up in November? What are you?
No, I mean, I might sound very conceited when I say this, but I plan my life in a way where I don't know about other people's definitions of what's happening. I plan my life in a way where it's very happening for me.
Yeah, amazing.
For others, it might be the most boring life ever. But watching a movie, mastering a dish, hosting people, having a night completely to myself, just doing those things. One day, just walking and going to the mall and just, picking up things that I just only want and don't need. Shit like that, I felt like for the longest time that there was this void of a lot of those things that comprise that. It's opening up now. So it feels better. It feels good. It feels like I can do a lot of those
Normalcy has returned.
Normalcy, like my normal, my idea of normal. Yeah, like every weekend, I love this idea of going to the theater and just disappearing in this dark auditorium.
Was it packed when you went to these? Or
it depends on the film. I mean, Dune was packed and No Time to Die was packed.
But people are now like, wow, let's go to the theater. People are
yeah. So it's anyway 50%. So they have like these barricades and stuff for every alternate seat.
Okay.
But like a film like Shang-Chi, for example, it was just like there were 20 people in the theater. I watched The Quiet Place.
Shang-Chi is what the Marvel this.
Yeah.
Isn't that on Hotstar or something?
Not yet. It will. Okay. Yeah, not yet. Like I watched The Quiet Place, the second part. Oh my God, you guys, you should watch it.
I did.
I
watched it. Did you like it?
I loved it. I like nerve grating. Like I thought it was very well.
Maybe again, I honestly remember.
Did you watch it in the theater?
That's the thing. I saw it.
You cannot watch it on a TV.
1 second.
You have to watch it on the theater.
I have a good setup at home. But like
I don't have. Doesn't matter.
I know,
doesn't matter. It's not a home experience.
When I felt like, okay, now it's becoming a franchise, I did remember thinking that actually the reason I enjoyed Quiet Place 1 so much is because in the theater, for the first time, it was a challenging movie to watch because people were even skeptical to fucking eat popcorn because that was noisy. So I get the experience was different. That's why maybe, and I'm not saying I did not like Quiet Place 2. I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I couldn't help but feel like, okay, now it's okay. Let's not do Quiet Place 3.
So what you're feeling, I felt that about Don't Breathe 2.
Oh
like
my
Don't
God.
Breathe was amazing. I liked Don't Breathe 2.
Sorry, Don't Breathe 2 is where the blind guy and they break into a house and into a blind guy's house and he happens to be a nut job.
Yeah.
Okay.
And again, it works on the similar principles like, Quiet Place, where it's silence and...
It's become such a genre, no? Now there's Bird Box and Quiet Place and all of these.
Bird Box is very bad. Really bad.
I hate to say this and I don't know if I'm going to get hate. But if Sandra Bullock is in something, I'm already a little out. Like, no.
Barring Practical Magic, because it's such a cute movie.
I would have said Miss Congeniality, but okay.
Yeah, Miss Congeniality is also fun, but Practical Magic
maybe
is also
Gravity again. I love Gravity.
I love Gravity again.
Otherwise, I have very limited patience for Sandra Bullock. Like, hey, shut up, lady.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, so just watching all these, like, I love the idea of disappearing in that world, and because I love going alone. Out of the 5 movies, 3 of them I went by myself. So and it just felt so good. I felt like I'm home.
I'm excited to watch Dune this week and just feel what it's like to be in a theater.
I mean, I haven't felt this happy with the extent of world building since Mad Max.
Oh, which I saw day before yesterday. I was I'm going to watch Dune this week. Maybe it's time to watch Mad Max. They're not related at all, but I just felt like, you know what?
There's sisters. Something about they're cut from the same cloth, completely different vibes, but as raucous as Mad Max is, this one's very quiet and meditative.
Okay.
But
amazing.
But yeah,
I can't
wait. You should watch it. I think we should discuss it whenever you watch.
Give Timothée Chalamet money.
Actually, I wouldn't say he's least impressive. He's done a good job, but the one to watch out for is Rebecca Ferguson.
Okay.
She's, my God.
Yeah.
She's like, watch it and then you'll know what I mean. The complexity. I've been a fan of her since I saw her in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. Like, I was like, she's stolen that show, and to see the complexity that she was bringing to this role. Again, this is becoming a Dune conversation, but we should discuss it when you watched it. So,
amazing. Let's do that.
Yeah.
I guess, we should wrap this up and we'll come back with our final recommendation section.
Yes.
TikTok. And
Small talk.
I'll never get it right, dude. I'll never get it.
Yeah.
Eventually, you'll see the end of your childhood.
Get accustomed to womanhood.
Enjoy the experience of sisterhood.
Might get to wifehood.
Or not. Choose motherhood.
Or not. You'll learn to define your personhood.
Earn a livelihood.
Change the neighborhood.
And get rid of the falsehood that life post-academia is easy.
So join me, Natasha.
And me, Ayushi.
On a journey from station starting point.
To station, what now?
Next station, Pudin station. And hopefully, Agla station, adulthood.
Fresh episodes out every Thursday.
All right. So what's your recommendation for the week?
Wow. I have on Netflix. Netflix, by the way, is really making it hard for me to hate Netflix lately because they're not doing amazing new things. Although they are doing some amazing new things like House of Murders to start with. I was a little very unsettled by that show. It was quite well done. But they're bringing back a lot of they've got the entire Office catalog. They've got Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
So I've been watching Seinfeld, but speaking of Seinfeld, I really want to recommend Curb Your Enthusiasm this week, which I don't. A lot of people.
I love it.
Yeah, but even
because I identify with him, like this
I don't know why you said that because here's the deal. Can I tell you something? If we all find relations in all the shows that we watch, right? This character is like me. But if I had to see the one character that I felt was me, I've always felt like Larry David is because I have a problem with every fucking social niceties and I have a problem with like everything, like unwritten rules of society, and he has such a great way of like just highlighting those things, whether it's like bless you, like saying bless you when someone sneezes or anything, right? He's such a craftsman at bringing out the stupidness that we do. In fact, in the new season, there was one scene and I felt like, dude, this is out of my life because first of all, I don't drink. And a lot of my friends, they like to do cheers, and now it's become cheers and look.
You have to look, fuck you.
And there's an entire scene about that in the new season of Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I was like, this season I'm relating to him more, the new season. So I would love to recommend if someone wants to like, just watch it. I feel like this, but like a lot of times that is also his style of writing, which is like few things happen and they all tie together neatly in the end. And to do that week after week as a writer, I think that's incredibly difficult. So I'm going to go with Curb Your Enthusiasm. What's yours?
So I watched this comedy horror film, which is so zany. It's called Extraordinary.
Okay.
It's this British film.
My
Check
God.
it later.
I have seen it.
It is so adorable, so funny, so disarmingly British. It is. I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
But here's the deal. Maybe first of all, I love Wilford. Yeah. And when it had come out, I had seen the ratings.
I mean, Wilford is a very small part of it.
I know, but
just.
In general, I felt like, oh my God, this, because I love What We Do in the Shadows. I thought this is right. And the Rotten Tomatoes rating, everyone was raving about this movie. I found the premise hilarious. It's like a gold.
I absolutely love it.
It's a very high concept. If you actually think about it, then nobody's thought of this. We've had like centuries of cinema, but nobody thought of this simple thing. I won't say it because that's the spoiler. But
but like I'll just give you a bit of a basic plot, setup. It's about this girl who can see ghosts, essentially, and she helps people with that. So she's like a medium, but like not really a medium. So there is just some stuff, some evil stuff afoot. And things go crazy.
What I found funny was that she doesn't see big ghosts. She sees the ghosts who do mundane shit. I found that's so hilarious as a concept. But when I watched it, I found it a little boring actually.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. And it was just such a... I remember, so I had watched it, and this is not like a recommendation now. I've been wanting to recommend this. There are just other things that I wanted. So I watched it during the pandemic last year. And around this time. And when I watched it, I remember after the film was over, firstly, I told myself, I feel happy after watching it because it just was such a bundle of joy. I think it's on Amazon if anyone wants to check out. It's on Prime. So it's on Prime Video. So please watch Extraordinary. You will love it. It's funny. It's fun.
Can I please recommend a movie to you if you liked Extraordinary? Check out this New Zealand film called Housebound. Again, it's a horror comedy.
I watched it.
Amazing.
It's amazing. Really,
what a bizarre concept again, maybe I should, even then, I was expecting so much from Extraordinary that sometimes when I expect too much and it doesn't meet, then I see it as a me problem maybe. So I do plan to watch it again. So I'm glad now it's on Prime. I'll check it out. It's
definitely. Also, I mean, I absolutely love comedy and horror films that are visually done well.
Oh my God.
This is done visually really well. Like it's almost like there's this certain symmetry to the shot. So anyone who loves the aesthetic of filmmaking will love it. So so Extraordinary for the festive weekends. Amazing. Please go watch it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Sunetro.
All right.
Has gone by and this is great. I hope to eat your kosha mangsho someday.
Yes, please.
I will see you next week and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Bye-bye.
If you love cricket, listen up. The Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast is here for you. Hosted by DJ, Varun, and me, Ashwin, we bring a fun, fresh fan's point of view to talking all things cricket. Sometimes it's just the three of us, sometimes we have guests, including current and former international cricketers. For new episodes every week, check out the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast on the IVM app, website, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Have you ever wondered where the business world is headed? How the ways in which we create, market, and sell to consumers will evolve? Or if we'll ever go back to wearing pants while working? For answers to all of this and more, tune into Advertising is Dead with me, Varun Tugirala. Every Tuesday, as I talk to entrepreneurs, leaders, and change makers from across business, media, marketing, and beyond. You can catch all episodes of Advertising is Dead on the IVM Podcasts website, app, or wherever you get your podcast from.